Welcome to my channel. I'm Dr. Romano. So if you go back in history during what happened in the 40s, in the 1970s and the 80s, etc., all of these things happened for reasons. Have you ever wondered why or how I was able to predict Bitcoin going up in 2021, the September-October period? How I was able to predict the direction of the stock market in January of 2022? Well, have you ever thought about what I do and how I do my analysis work? Or what about the prediction that I made for April of 2022? I made predictions and they somehow come true because finance is like a science. It doesn't change. And when you truly understand finance, you will understand the outcome. Well, when certain things happen to our financial market, you will know what the outcome will be. And so I made those predictions. Yes, I know I went to school and I studied too much finance and too much of everything. And yes, I have a college degree, and yes, I have 2 MBAs and a PhD in finance, and maybe I'm more aware of things that the typical person wouldn't know. However, you don't need to have a PhD to understand what I know. Because 100 years ago, the best traders in all of history didn't know about everything, what they needed to know. That was it. And so, yes, our American school system teaches us a lot of stuff, and maybe it should be a more focused type of education. So we don't need to have a PhD to know what I know. I made those predictions, and I truly believed in those predictions because I felt it in the data. I repeated the data, what happened in that period, what happened in the previous period, etc. And so by understanding how Bitcoin moved and how it reacted to the markets, I was able to predict the rise of Bitcoin in September-October time period. And I was even able to predict when it would stop rising. Can you imagine? This is the first week of September of 2021, and it started to go up, but it will continue to go up until mid-October of this year. I can't tell you why I know this, but I see the charts. I'm very good with reading charts of data. Now, the other problem is that if you noticed, it only goes up a certain amount over, let's say, a couple of weeks. And so that's why right now it's starting to go up, and it will continue to go up until mid-October. In January of 2022, I was able to predict the decline of the stock market, particularly the SPX, because I knew how it reacted to certain situations. And by understanding that, that's how you're able to predict the direction. I see this market correction happening any day, not 3 months from now. Now it's happening. Because who's ever pulling out of the markets right now, that doesn't make any sense, that they're pulling out so much. Secondly, typically you would, if the market, okay, so what should happen is that when you pull out of the equities market, you invest your proceeds, meaning your capital that you've held on to and you accumulated in the 10 years, and you invest it in the commodities market. Yes, gold prices have been skyrocketing, but remember 2020 was it was a pandemic, so everyone got scared and they invested in the commodities. That's normal, but it's happening again. So I don't see the market stable in 2022. There's going to be a correction at the beginning of the year. And then, everything's going to fizzle down. But I see a lot of sectors changing over this 2022 period because remember, it's really expensive for developers to build houses and office buildings. So in order for them to make their 20% profit, they need to raise the prices because the products that it took to build that also went up. So I just see a really bad choppy market for 2022. There's probably going to be multiple market corrections. I don't see just one. I see it really a couple of them. I was also able to predict the April of 2022, the direction. And as I mentioned that there would be a major decline. And over the past month of April, that was clearly indicated in our markets. And when you really like what you do, you really become good at it. Now, if I'm telling you based on my market analysis that the stock market is going to be having a big drop in the first week of April of 2022, well, as soon as you watch this video, this is the end of February, you should be looking to get those options. In this case, because you're not going to really focus on shorting certain stocks, etc., you want to only trade the indices. Because when you know something that's going to really happen, you could do the NASDAQ. I always talk about the S&P in my other videos. And when I say that it drops 2,000 points, I was referring to DWCF. And the DWCF is basically the Dow Jones, but it's more broader. And when that drops, it really drops. So you can make a lot of money, just like the NASDAQ. You can make a lot of money when it drops, or the Dow Jones. And so that's basically how you could take advantages of these drops. I'm going to be making a number of videos this year because this year is going to be it's a turning point in our financial markets, and you have a lot of changes in the investment banks. I've spoken to CEOs, and it's a turning point in our financial system. It's not that it's bad or good, or we're going to blame someone like 2008 and 2009. No, the mortgage market, people are more qualified to get those mortgages because the banks aren't just giving mortgages to anyone. But you have to remember that as interest rates go up, less people are going to qualify for that same quality of house, that property. For example, in my city, the houses are now $750,000. 5 years ago, they were around $300,000. That's a huge increase. And so that increase is going to slow down as interest rates go up. And yes, there's plenty of permits out there for new construction, but that could easily be dissolved by a stock market collapse. And so this type of stock market collapse, there's a lot of changes that are going to happen this year, so that you're going to see a number of drops in our markets. But if you're not prepared, if you're trading and you're not prepared for that, you got big problems. And since I'm a doctor of hedge fund selection, the best hedge fund managers out there, they're really good with managing their risk. Okay? So now, the next future moves of 2022 will be Bitcoin. And please stay tuned because I'm going to go over how and when Bitcoin is going to go up and down. So please remember to subscribe to my videos, my video channel. All you have to do is press the button. It's free. I'm providing free information for you. Please remember to do thumbs up. It is so important. It will get my videos out there so that other people could watch this information and also learn. Please remember to share my video with at least 5 people. And then finally, please remember to send messages to the live chat so that I can make future videos just for you or answer your questions. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it.